Are you a big fan of the anime Wise Men's Grandchild? Would you like to know about some of the strongest abilities Shin Wolford possesses in said anime? Well, you're in luck, as this is a place to come to find out. Welcome back to Comet's Top 10s, where today we'll be counting down our picks for Shin Wolford's top 10 strongest abilities in Wise Men's Grandchild. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, as well as click that bell icon for notifications on upcoming content. With that said, let's jump right into our top 10 picks, shall we? Number 10, Wind Magic. To start off our list, we had to go with Shin's first magic that he was shown using, Wind Magic. When we are first introduced to our MC, he is a little boy, out in the woods, hunting a wild boar. To defeat it, we see Shin use wind slashes while also using wind enchantments on his boots, so that he can move insanely quick to catch it. Not only is he able to use wind magic as a blade, but he can also create tunnels of wind to direct powerful attacks, kind of like the barrel of a gun. Not to mention, he can use it to change the atmospheric pressure in a particular area, and even create gusts of wind to control the direction he goes in when he's flying, similar to how astronauts use thrusters in space. With that, he can even create vacuums, removing oxygen completely from a particular area. This is seen most often in the process when he creates a pure blue flame. Since the basis of this magic is seen throughout every spell and attack Shin uses in the anime, it had to be the first one we had to mention on our list. Number 9, Fire Magic. One of Shin's most preferred magics in the anime would have to be his fire magic, as he spent a lot of time cultivating basic spells into powerhouse ballbusters. One of the first fire abilities we see him use is the blue flames, which are ultra high temperature flames that are capable of melting and even vitrifying the ground upon impact. Prior to Shin using them, they were flames never before seen in this world, as he is able to visualize the actual process behind making a flame hotter. Shin can also shape these flames into long, thin bullets that are able to blow away their surroundings due to their high velocity, speed, and heat. What's even crazier is that Shin can create a massive explosion by mixing oxygen and hydrogen while condensing it and funneling it with wind magic at a target. This causes a devastating explosion and oftentimes leaves behind huge craters or destroyed mountains. Throughout the show, whenever we see Shin use his fire magic abilities, it's always led by jaw-dropping gazes, just by the pure power and destruction it leaves in its wake. Just because it's number 9 doesn't mean it's not an overpowered ability. He is just that strong. Number 8, Light Magic. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to mention one of Shin's coolest abilities that is also insanely powerful. Shocker, right? Of course, I am talking about light magic, which allows him to manipulate and control light in various ways throughout the anime. The first time we see this ability in action is when Shin is gathering sunlight in a spell to blast a beam of concentrated light at Oliver Strom on the practice ground of the security office. Even though it didn't kill Oliver, the pure strength of this ability alone left him beaten and bruised. Not to mention it took creating an explosion just to avoid the pure power of the spell. Although we don't see this in the anime, he also has the ability to render himself invisible by deflecting all the light from his body. Even though it's a simple spell due to him pertaining knowledge from his past life, it's a spell not many classmates of his really understand. And can you blame him? If we get season 2 of this anime, this is an ability I would love to see. Number 7, Flying Magic. It couldn't be a top 10 list without including the ability that allows him to fly through the sky on it. Shin developed the ability to use flying magic after his fight with Oliver Strom, who happened to be using it to levitate and evade his attacks. He decided to experiment with the idea one day by using an anti-gravity spell on a stone. Shin was able to master the ability to fly by using anti-gravity magic on himself, while also using gusts of wind to control the direction that he went in, similar to that of thrusters on rockets in space. He even later shared this knowledge with some of the friends in his club, allowing all the members of the Ultimate Magicians the ability to soar through the skies and protect their kingdom. To be fair, anyone who saw this ability in play was jealous, as it allowed them to take to the skies and travel long distances with relative ease, making it a lot easier to respond to demonoids attacking in the surrounding areas. Number 6, Search Magic. We see this ability used quite a lot in the anime, as Shin's go-to ability when hunting down demons or trying to find animals to hunt. With this ability, Shin can locate anyone within a specific amount of space around him. Not only does this give him special awareness, but he is also able to use it to detect the malice of demons. We first see this ability when the younger version of himself is hunting down a demon bear with his grandpa. At the age of 8, Shin was able to master this ability and use it to his advantage when defeating the the beast. We also see him using this ability to detect malice in humans, as well when he is in the big cities. It is a pretty solid ability that may seem pretty basic at times, but provides a big advantage when it comes to recon and fighting. Number 5. Healing magic. Even though we only saw this ability used in one episode of the anime, it was worth mentioning, because when we do see it in action, it's on a level even higher than that of his fiancé, who specializes in support magic and healing. He uses his healing magic to help a person on the verge of death, not by trying to heal him all at once, but by visualizing each individual issue and healing it in an order that saves him from dying. You could say that the knowledge he kept from his past life was very useful when paired with this ability, as it gave him a better understanding and idea of the process in which to use the magic to save a life. Not only that, but we even see healing magic used in Shin's enchantments when he puts auto heal on his gear. This does save him quite a bit of time, as he doesn't typically have to be healed or need to heal himself because of the enchantments on his clothes. This is a pretty powerful ability that Shin uses with relative ease, and even though we don't know a lot of backstory behind how he attained it, I'm just going to chalk it up to him being an overpowered MC in an isekai anime. Number 4. Dimension magic. Next up on our list had to be Shin's ability to use dimensional magic, as this type of magic allows him to not only travel great distances with ease, but also store items in another dimension. One of his most notable and most used abilities in the anime is his spell Gate, which allows him to create a connection between two locations in space-time to travel between them. Shin is only able to use this ability with locations he has been to, as he needs to have a clear image of the place he wants to travel to. This should not be confused with teleportation magic, which Shin has no interest in doing, considering that would require him to dematerialize and rematerialize himself on the other side, which poses too much risk of dying. In addition to the Gate spell, Shin can use dimensional storage magic, which allows him to store objects in another dimension. We see him use this ability a lot when storing items that might be a pain to carry around on his back. These two abilities are seen quite a bit in the anime, especially when our MC is training in the faraway lands to contain his explosive abilities, or when he and his group of friends are on countless adventures across the world and need to pop back home for a little bit. Either way, these abilities couldn't be overlooked, as they have a lot of benefit to our MC. Number 3. Enchantment magic. Of course, we had to include one of Shin's most broken abilities in the anime that often leaves even his hero grandmother and grandpa in awe. Yes, I'm talking about Shin Wolford's proficiency in the use of enchantment magic, a type of magic that allows him to imbue objects with various magical properties. Originally, he learned under the guidance of his grandma, the guru Melinda, but it wasn't long before he surpassed her and mastered the ability to add and remove enchantments on any object, including accessories and clothes, no matter the difficulty. He had a bad habit of not knowing how truly powerful some of the gear he creates is, often enchanting gear on the highest levels. Some of the enchantments he uses can nullify or disperse magic, can protect against attacks with malice intent, and even the ability to auto-heal, which can heal minor injuries. Not to mention the nullification of kinetic energy behind physical impacts, and shock absorption, which comes in handy when in a fight with a stronger opponent. Overall, Shin's skills in enchantment magic make him a formidable warrior, and why his nullification ability had to rank so high on our list. Number 2. Mana concentration. This isn't really an ability that you would think of when talking about a character's powers and abilities, but it is one of the main abilities that makes Shin Wolford so powerful in this new world. Through hard work and dedication up until he was 15, Shin trained himself on concentrating his mana, so that he could gradually increase his levels when he needed to for spells. You could say he went a little overboard, and when displaying a fraction of this concentration at his school, put everyone into a panic, as the sheer concentration of his magic made it hard for his classmates to move. He even uses mana concentration as a daily exercise when training his classmates to become the ultimate magicians, as the ability to concentrate mana allowed just about anyone to make a spell, like creating a barrier, insanely strong. This ultimately turned the knowledge of magic on its head, as now what students thought of as weak spells weren't so weak after all. Although it's not explained, the fact he is reincarnated probably plays a part in how he can concentrate so much mana. But I wouldn't write off all the hard work Shin has put into it either, as that consistent training and mana concentration is why he is such a powerhouse in the anime. Needless to say, I think it's a good lesson in refining the basics. Now we can't have a top 10 list without some honorable mentions. Sound magic. Even though we do not see this ability in action very much in the anime, it was worth mentioning because when we do see it, Shin has used it to create a communication device that talks over long distances. This of course becomes a big deal because Shin unknowingly created a device that could further change this world forever. He of course created it so that his friend's little sister could communicate with her big brother when they are away on missions. Kind of crazy that it looks like a cup with a string attached, but it is very much a mix of a walkie-talkie and a cell phone. Needless to say, it's a great use of sound magic and why it deserves to be an honorable mention. Defense magic. What honorable mentions list would be complete without Shin Wolford's ability to use defensive magic? This magic is mainly used in the anime when Shin is projecting barriers to protect himself and others from stronger attacks. One of his most used spells in the anime is the barrier spell, which creates a magic shield around the user. When Shin is teaching his fellow friends in the Ultimate Magic Research Society, this is the basic form of magic that he uses as a foundation for the growth and development of their magic control. Shin can also use multi-layer barriers, which allow him to summon multiple barriers for added defense when an opponent's magic is a little harder to handle. He can project these barriers in different areas or stack them together for even greater protection against an attack. We often see him using these when he battles the demonoids and when Shin's friends want to protect themselves from his insanely powerful magic tests. Number 1. Magic visualization, spell creation. So although this isn't a specified ability in the anime, I had to have it come in at number 1 on our list because it's the reason why Shin Wolford is so insanely powerful and has a lot of concepts of magic that blow this world's inhabitants away. Not only is Shin able to create new spells from scratch because he is reincarnated from another world and retains his memories from that world, but he also has a different concept of visualizing the laws of this new world and how magic works because of his prior knowledge. We see this a lot when he visualizes the process behind how a flame burns, which can increase its intensity and power output in an explosion. You also see this visualization and spell creation at work with his ability Gate, which connects 2 points together in space-time. So being from another world definitely helps him in becoming one of the strongest characters in the anime, because of the fact he's able to visualize the magic differently to create new and more powerful spells. What's even cooler is even his basic spells, ones that would be considered weak, can also improve by visualizing them in a different way. It is this reason, and many more, why this ability had to be number 1 on our list of strongest powers and abilities for Shin Wolford in Wiseman's Grandchild. Well, that's our picks for the top 10 strongest powers and abilities of Shin Wolford in Wiseman's Grandchild. What did you think of our top 10? What powers and abilities would you have added or changed? You can let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget, if you want to see more content like this, to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and click that bell icon for notifications on upcoming content. As always, thank you for tuning in to Comet's Top 10s, and I'll see you on our next top 10 video.